Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe. It might not be the talk that's captivating the nation yet, but it is the talk that's captivated this podcast. And is that talk starting to heat up? Am I going to change my mind, Cole, because I don't like who agreeing with me?
Who's agreeing with you? Who's agreeing with you?
Well, Mel Kiper's in this video. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm nervous. You see why I'm nervous now, right?
And so he was unbelievable.
Nuts, man.
But the conversation this morning is about Jalen Milroe, who
and I need people to understand that. There's a chance that corner he just did that to has children. That man is 17.
It's crazy how your brain works, and that's the perspective you went with.
You imagine you like your fourth year at Georgia, right? You finally get your moment to step up, and then it's a 17-year-old out here, should be a junior in high school. He does that to you?
I promise you, I thought you was gonna say that quarter he did that too. He's gonna go first round. I thought you was gonna say something like that. I did not know you was going to say it.
It's deeper than draft prospects, dog. That is a 17-year-old. All right, like don't nobody want to. I don't care how talented he is. Nobody want to get cooked up like that by no 17-year-old. Rashad McCants is still hating on LeBron James over shit that happened when LeBron James did stuff to him when LeBron was 17. Like.
He just got to get over that. It's been way too long.
Yeah,
LeBron
is man.
LeBron is 40. It's what it is.
He's 42. Still mad about this, right? Like, look, hey, we just saw Rashad McCants get bored for Ryan Williams, right? Whoever that man is a forever hater of Ryan Williams. And every time he says something negative, even his family gonna send him this shit in the group text if he get too spicy with it.
4 yards, ran for 117.
What is bad?
Accounted for 4 touchdowns against a Georgia defense that
hadn't
on top allowed a touchdown all year.
And that injury at Texas, so there's 5 vying for QB1. Jalen Milroe, Garga, right now is QB1. I still have Shedeur Sanders there. I'm going to debate that in my own mind between now and Friday.
Mel Kiper got Shedeur at 1? Cole, answer for this.
Listen. You too excited. You too excited to rain on my parade right now. You too excited to rain on my parade. Hey, listen. Everybody be right sometimes.
He like all the quarterbacks y'all like, by the way. He like Cam Ward. You notice he put what's his name? Quinn Ewers in the back. He also put Carson Beck in the back. And this is a man who pounded the table and told us we were fools. Fools, I tell you, for not considering Will Levis in the first round.
Yeah, man, I don't know about that one.
Hey, man, this is who you riding with?
This next rank is Thursday.
This your boy?
Depending upon when I'm finishing.
Listen.
But Jalen Milroe, 53 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's 53 combined passing, rushing over the last 2 years. 18-1 passing, accurate passing there. Operations, right?
Okay, Mel, I need you to get real Bill Polian with this. I need you to tell me he needs to play wide receiver so I can have the green light to draft him on the overall. Like, that's what I need. What does Bill Polian think of this right now? Because if Bill Polian says he needs to play wide receiver, Cole, fuck it. I'm trading everything. I'm going number 1 overall. I'm taking Jalen Milroe right now. Like,
it's crazy that's what you need. That's what you need. The stereotypes, the
yeah.
Dog whistles to take that man.
because if all they got is the racism, he must be fired. We should have saw that one coming with Lamar. They weren't even talking about can he pass, this and that. They went straight to the wide receiver. I was like, they got nothing. We should have known. See, I got to learn from my mistakes. Should Ryan Williams do that to number 4 and think that man ain't going to be a hater for the rest of his life?
Look, man, I don't know if he gonna be a hater the rest of his life, but good Lord, that's gonna be a highlight forever. That's gonna be a highlight forever.
He might not even be a hater right now, Cole, but let me tell you, that shit gonna be flying around for 4 years. That's the Jadeveon Clowney. That's a Jadeveon Clowney level highlight that he got off on that corner. By the time that man graduates school, he gonna be sick of that shit.
Oh, I hope he's prepared because when the NFL draft gets here, I just want you to know they gonna play that play a billion times. A billion times.
Even if it's you that get drafted. That's the cold part of it.
Oh, when they talk about his weaknesses? When they talk about his weaknesses?
First clip on the screen. Got cooked by Ryan Williams. That might be the weakness that they put up there. They ain't even going to analyze it. Like, yeah, he got cooked by Ryan Williams at one time, though. That motherfucker was 17 when he did it. Like, hey, bro, you don't believe me? Ask Shaun Wade if this is a real thing that happens.
Oh, Shaun Wade.
Yeah, Smitty did him. Smitty did him wrong.
Hey, his whole highlight tape when he got drafted was on Shaun Wade, dog. The entire thing. Thing.
And he won the Heisman before that game. Like, he made him throw out all them Heisman highlights he had against like Central, Jackson, Alabama, Florida State, whatever the fuck they was playing in 2020 during the pandemic. Like, no, they threw out all of that stuff. They was like, no, we got fresh clips right here from one half of the national championship game. He didn't even play for the rest. Oh,
so that's quite a remarkable thing. This is a guy.
It's really clown smart, but he got out the frame so quick.
Hey man, I'm about to say rewind that back. We gotta see that. We gotta see that.
We gotta see that. We gonna put this man through more misery.
Absolutely. This is our channel.
Yes. This has been short intermediate, precise.
Oh, man. Craziest part about it, that was a bad pass. That was a bad pass, and it did not matter at all.
And so that's quite the remarkable thing. This is a guy who last year I don't think people even anticipated being in the first round. Now we're talking about him possibly being in the top 5. Who's a comp? Like, people will look at him play and they'll see some of the things that he does. If everything works out perfect.
Hold on, Cole. Here we go.
Which black quarterback are we comparing Jalen Milroe?
You don't think you're gonna compare him to, like, what's his name in New Orleans? You don't think you're gonna compare him to him?
No. No, not at all. Which let me think.
You gonna go with Alex Smith?
Nah, which black quarterback is he getting compared to? Let me think.
Anthony Richardson, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson.
I don't think they're gonna compare him to Lamar because he's bigger than Lamar. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're gonna do Lamar. I can see Anthony Richardson because that's obvious. I can see Cam because that's obvious. I'm trying to think if there's somebody else I'm not thinking about. They might do Jalen Hurts. They might do Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, that would make sense.
That would be reasonable. That would be reasonable.
But he's not in one of the like 3 stock answers for this, right? Like, remember with who did we CJ Stroud get compared to? Because I remember going with, like, he kind of reminded me of Justin Herbert, and everybody was like, you can't compare him to Justin Herbert. He's black. Like, was basically the energy that I got out of it. It was like, damn, I can't say he played like Justin Herbert. They kept on telling me he played like who was it that year? Not Justin Fields. It was somebody good. Oh yeah, they kept comparing him to Deshaun Watson. He don't play nothing like Deshaun Watson.
Not at all.
Joe Burrow played like Deshaun Watson used to.
Oh, man. Let's see what Mel got for us, man. Let's see what Mel got for us.
Hey, man, Mel might surprise us.
If he winds up being exactly what you hope he could turn into, who does he turn into in the NFL?
Yeah, he's granted at 6'2", 225, and he runs as fast as he needs to, and he's faster than everybody, right? And he makes the position that is the most difficult to play in sports look easy at times, not hard. And that's what the great ones do, right? It's everything slows down. Looks like they're just toying with you. And this is college, not the NFL, but this is the best college football has to offer. And he made it look at times too easy. So for Jalen Milroe, you see Lamar Jackson out there doing the exact same thing. I watch him here with the Baltimore Ravens at times, just toying with defenders. Improvement from the first year at LSU to this past year was head down, not seeing the field, looking to just take off. He improved that dramatically that following year when he wins the Heisman, right? Jalen Milroe slipped slips and slides in the pocket. When he needs a run, he does. So right now, he just gets it, and I think the game slowed down. The progression from last year to this year has been consistent. It's been steady. That's why right now I'll be debating between now and Thursday, Friday, whether Jalen Milroe is my QB1 or at worst, Greeny, at worst, QB2.
Man, vaulting ahead of him.
Okay. It wasn't. I mean, he went Lamar, but
He slipped the question. He was like, he reminds me of Lamar as a runner, right? But then he made the distinction as a passer.
Okay. We heard Jake Daniels in there too. Okay.
Way not to make the rookie mistake, man. Way to stay out of that one. Now they're gonna bring up Shaduk.
Among others, the quarterback that he beat in that game, Carson Beck, who entered this season, I think, is the presumptive #1 pick. I will make Mel answer this question on the First Draft podcast, which you will hear on Thursday at noon, anywhere you get your podcast. So you don't necessarily have to wait till Friday. I'm going to make him do it.
Good shameless plug. Good shameless plug.
Wearing an Alabama tie.
Roll Tide.
This morning. You met Jalen Milroe on Friday. You had the same exact impression everyone does when they meet him.
Brick house. I mean, dude walked in to shake my hand. My son Josh and my wife Karen, we're standing there, and he walks up, and as he's walking up, I'm thinking he's a linebacker. And then I see his chain, he starts talking, I was like, oh my God, this is a quarterback. And he's a freaking grown man. Like he is, and so calm. I asked him, I was like, you ready for tomorrow? It was like they weren't even playing a big game. He's got this energy, and as I
Jeff Saturday's whole analysis for Jalen Milroe so far, that's a big motherfucker.
Hey man, I get it.
Hey,
he's a big quarterback. He is a big quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody describes large athletes better than people like Jeff Saturday, because they have the best terms. Well, he's a fucking brick house.
He wanted to say brick shit house so bad. He wanted to.
Hey man, look, because when we see DeJuan Jones, that's a big man, and when they see DeJuan Jones, they come up with all these fucking words to describe how big DeJuan Jones is. It's insane to me, and highly entertaining. Like, what, you ever hear Pat McAfee try to describe Myles Garrett?
No, what Pat say?
Bro, Pat put the tweet out last year during the Indy game. He was like, Myles Garrett's got the best body God's ever built. I'm like, yo, what? Who sits around and thinks that up? Like,
oh man,
I ain't never thought about calling another man a brick house, but then like he calls him a brick house, I'm like, man, that sounds cool. Like what he said, like,
oh man,
that's a big motherfucker right there. Like, straight to the point. What do you like about Jalen Milroe? You see how big that motherfucker is?
Man, you can't build You don't see quarterbacks built like that, man. You do not see quarterbacks built like that.
Owner out there in Indianapolis, what's his name?
Oh, how did I forget? Jim Irsay?
Yeah, Jim Irsay. I know he was hilarious after that combine interview. Oh my God! After Anthony Richardson, he was like, "So we drafted him, right?"
Just like, you see that? I know you saw that.
Brick house.
Oh man!
Shout out to Jeff Saturday.
different players walking through, they all had that same
Hey, former Colts coach, Jeff.
But people question the accuracy and different things. When you see him slip these tackles, SEC is pro football when it comes to defense, right? There's not a better defensive.
Hey, Dominique Foxworth, man. I'm praying for you, brother. Like,
look at him keeping his composure the whole time, keeping his composure.
It's a lot of things he's telling himself, nope, don't, not here.
He faces them week in, week. He's played a ton of football. To make Kirby smart defense and go hang up those points, that's tough to do. And he makes it, like Mel said, makes it look easy. I was super impressed with
I
the kid.
promise
And the difference
you, Dom
between
doesn't
him
go
and Lamar
with the
Jackson
Lamar
is
Jackson comp.
mostly the time. which is to say, at the time that Lamar Jackson was being drafted, people said, well, I don't know if you can do that in the NFL and win. Now, perhaps in large part because of Lamar Jackson, Jalen Milroe is exactly what every NFL team is looking for.
Can I advocate?
Hey, pause it real quick. Pause it real quick.
Because I don't want.
Because I think that is a great point to make. And just like, and this feels more like kind of like a legacy convo that we should be having probably years from now when Lamar retires. But I do think that you could clearly see from when he got drafted to now, the way that quarterbacks get evaluated has changed dramatically. It has. Like, it genuinely has. Because he wasn't as big as Cam was. You see what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't as big as Cam. And I think now teams are looking at quarterbacks a little bit differently after the success that Lamar's had. I think that, again, this is a conversation we probably should be having like years from now, but I think you're already kind of starting to see it.
All right, my answer is going to be controversial on this, but it's not really controversial. I agree with you, but I don't agree with why that happened. I think this is a similar thing to when in the 60s, USC walked into Alabama and beat the fuck out of Alabama because Alabama was not integrated and USC was. Not saying the NFL wasn't integrated at this point, but still in 2018, a lot of the more egregiously like kind of like obvious dog whistles, racism around black quarterbacks, it still flew in 2018. Case in point, Lamar Jackson went 32nd overall after winning the Heisman Trophy. By the way, this man's won 2 MVPs and a Heisman Trophy. People still question if he can play quarterback. Like he won a Heisman Trophy, right? And he still went 32nd overall. And he plays quarterback. He played in a pro-heavy system. But the mere appearance and aesthetic of Lamar Jackson, right? Because he doesn't do the normal quote unquote quarterback stuff, right? He doesn't Russell Wilson the whole thing up. Like he still acts like Lamar Jackson. He doesn't really put on a facade. And I think what happened in 2018 was people were like, hey, dog, we let something not football related make a decision about quarterback for this team. Never again. I think that's what that was about, right? Like, I think quarterbacks were still getting evaluated based on their ability to run because that was a big part of like Carson Wentz and why people were advocating for him to go number 1 over what was it that year, Jameis Jared Goff.
Oh, Jared Goff. Jared Goff.
Yeah, and then the same thing was true with like Marcus Mariota. And advocating for him to go over. You even go back to 2013 where EJ Manuel went number 1. Well, not number 1, but first quarterback in that draft class because he was mobile, right? Like Cam really made it so that you were going to look and check for a quarterback's mobility. I think people got less preoccupied with the aesthetics after Lamar Jackson had the breakout success that he had in 2019 because it became one of those things where people were like, oh, all these things that we used to think mattered, I guess it doesn't. So like, we're not going to really trip about that. And also, to be fair, ain't been another motherfucker walk around acting like Lamar Jackson or playing like Lamar Jackson since.
Definitely not acting like Lamar.
I don't even want to say acting like because that makes it seem like it's a negative connotation. Lamar just kicking different, bro. Like
Lamar's Lamar. He be having a good time.
Yeah. Lamar just be kicking it. He wears a shiesty at a press conference like no other quarterback is doing that. He still lights you up. That's what I think happened around there. I think also like there were a bunch of other quarterbacks who were also mobile that had success around that time, right? RG3 had a big time in there. We forget Andrew Luck was mobile too, right? Like there was a lot of mobility. It was obvious, I think, by 2014 that the next wave of quarterbacks had to be athletes because that started to die off pretty much mid 2010s. I think Lamar is just the next level of it when you see somebody who cannot just run the ball, but run that bitch like Mike, right? Like, it's a different thing, right? So I think that's also something to add to it, where usually if you were that level of athlete, it got held against you because of the stereotypes people had about the quarterback position. This is not something that's going to get held against Jalen Milroe like it did against Lamar Jackson. Or like Jaden Daniels is another great example of this. Yeah. It would have got held against him, I think, 10 years ago, right? Oh, he's just a runner, right? Like there used to be this thing where like if you were a black quarterback and an athlete, you had to almost intentionally stop yourself from running because you didn't want to get pigeonholed as the running quarterback. Like you can still see this in how Deshaun Watson reacts to that conversation, where he had the clip that went viral, I think, last a couple of weeks, where he's like, I'm not a running quarterback, which is, we know what that is because we grew up in that era, why he's saying that. Mm-hmm. So, because he grew up in the era where it's like you had to distinct yourself from the running quarterbacks, which is a whole nother quagmire that's beyond the scope of this video. like truthfully, the dynamics of that and how that gets self-implied and how that I ain't got enough degrees to have that conversation on the internet, but I do think it all kind of plays a part in it. So yeah, I think there is some of it. Lamar as a player broke that mold, but I think this was just Lamar was so good that it changed the attitudes of a lot of front office people to switch from using that against somebody to now it being a benefit. And by the way, Josh Allen, right? Like he could run. Very much a runner, right? But he never had to worry about if he was going to get pigeonholed as a runner. Same thing with Alex Smith, who ran the ball a lot in college. Like I think people like don't understand how much Ryan Tannehill was a wide receiver, right? He still got drafted in the top 10. But with black quarterbacks, that was something that they had to deal with because it was like, oh, he just runs. And then now they got your ass playing wide receiver, which they literally tried to do to Lamar.
Yep. And no, it was funny. I was actually reading an article where it's like every time there's a highly touted black quarterback coming out of college, somebody always suggests that they should have to change positions to be successful. Somebody always does it.
The wild one is when somebody suggests you should play tight end. Because that to me screams, they don't even think you athletic enough to justify this conversation.
They tried to do that with Joe Milton.
Yeah. Oh, make him play tight end.
Yeah, should make him. He's like he's trying to play tight end. I was like, dang.
Yeah, like if you don't even think he can play wide receiver, why are you even changing his position? But yeah, it's a whole quagmire there. But Jalen Milroe, they feel good about him. Do we want to watch the rest of this clip?
Yeah, let's watch the rest.
There to be no more naysayers for him to let know.
Okay, Dominique.
So keep him at 2, QB2,
keep him hungry.
So he can keep motivated and he can keep selling them Lank shirts.
I like what Dominique doing here because he's not going to feel comfortable with this if this room is telling us that that's quarterback 1. And I agree with him. Right? Like, no, y'all need to be hesitant on this. Like, it does not make me comfortable that all y'all agree with me. Would you agree? Would you feel like this? And they was like, yeah, man, Shador is the best quarterback. And it's this room of dudes, old NFL dudes.
Makes me a little nervous.
The same dudes who are in them rooms talking about how Josh Rosen was pro ready.
Yeah, it makes me a lot nervous. Nah,
yeah.
That perspective.
Dog. Like, hold on. What makes you think you can? Nah. Stay away. Like, you gonna make me flip my vote to Shador? Okay, like.
Listen. I know where I stand on this. I know what side of this debate I stand on. So I'm feeling pretty good. Everybody loves Jalen. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves Shador too. Don't forget, Cole. All them same people had who as quarterback number 1. Yeah.
We'll
no, you're not a bunny. It ain't like they put him at 5, right?
But they like your boy right now. That's what matters.
Hey, bro,
Like,
how bad is Quinn Ewers? Like, I need to understand this. Ain't nobody hype. He on the #1 team in the country, and we out here talking about everybody else but him. Is he not good?
I mean, they talked about Carson Beck. Didn't even talk about him.
Well, they had to talk about Carson Beck because he was on the other side of Jalen Milroe. Like,
it's like coming into the game, Carson Beck was QB1 for a lot of teams. That died a swift death.
bro, I ain't never seen a 5-star quarterback who's on the #1 team in the country, the quarterback of the #1 team in the country, and ain't nobody talk about that dude going #1 overall. It's kind of crazy.
It's a little crazy.
What is going on that tape? Like,
I wonder if the Arch Manning thing is impacting this too.
Look, here's all I know. There is no way that it's because he's being overlooked. Like,
I want to know like why people are so down on Quinn now.
It makes you ask the question. Why are people so excited to see Arch Manning play if you are already the quarterback? What makes people think, man, this is fine, but it could be better? Like,
well, I mean, with Arch, we can't ignore the fact that his last name is Manning, and that plays a part into all
Quinn
of this.
Ewers was so hyped up coming out of college. He turned down, he had like 3 NIL deals the day he signed to Ohio State.
That's true. That
He was the mullet man of the mullet generation.
Man. Yeah, man, we're going to see what happens with Quinn.
Hey,
we'll see.
I'm telling you, something must be funky on that tape because there's no way he's getting overlooked. Like, there's no way.
They got you behind Shador and Jalen.
They know about you, right? And they putting new dudes in front of you. They putting Cam Ward in front of you. Like, that don't feel good at all. I don't know about that. That's not good. That's really bad for the homie. Yeah. But Jalen Milroe agenda continues.